Bismillah. Continuing ayah 35. We said, O Adam, dwell you and your spouse in paradise, and both of you eat freely from it, anywhere as both of you please. But both of you do not approach this tree, or else both of you will be among the wrongdoers. Ya Adamuskun anta wa zawjukal jannah. O Adam, dwell you and your spouse in paradise. Adam alayhi salam was feeling lonely among the angels, so Allah created a spouse partner for him. The word used is spouse and not wife. Zawjuka, your spouse. Zawjatuka, your wife. It is human nature that he or she needed someone close to interact with. Quran did not mention the name of his spouse, but it is in the hadith. Her name is Hawa, life, and not Hawa, desire. Uskun anta wa zawjukal jannah. Dwell for a while, you and your spouse in paradise. By this time, a period of time has passed since the prostration episode, and Adam now has a spouse and was ordered to be living blissfully in paradise. Later on, we will see that living blissfully in paradise was a test from Allah on them. Allah used the word uskun, stay for a while. It was not hold, a permanent stay. This shows that Allah had already predestined that Adam would have to come to earth. From the beginning of Adam's creation up to the prostrating scene, the ayat did not mention where the process took place. Only in this ayat 35, gardens of paradise is mentioned. Question: did the command uskun, stay, means both of them were outside and now commanded to stay in paradise? Or they were already in paradise and commanded to continue staying in paradise for a while? The main opinion was that both Adam and spouse were outside and were commanded to go into Jannah. Anta wa zawjuka, you and your spouse. Allah can say both of you, but He said you and your spouse. Allah addressed Adam alayhi salam first before mentioning Hawa. This is an emphasis that the man needs to be in charge in the affairs of his wife and children. The man of the house is only an employee, not the boss. In a business, the manager managed the business, but he is not the owner. The father needs to take care of the family according to the guidelines of his master, owner, boss. He cannot abuse the wife or kids. That will be a violation of the guidelines of the master. He is made responsible in managing the family. He has the final decision and will face accountability by God. He has to make sure the people under his care is as obedient to Allah's commandments like him. Some say women must stand as tall as men. Does equality translate to justice? In World Cup soccer matches, why not have an all-woman soccer team against all-men soccer team? Why don't heavyweight boxing matches allow men boxers against women boxers? That will be equality but no justice. Men and women are created differently by the Creator. There are some things that men are good at and there are some things that women are better at. Giving both with the same rights would not be justice. Giving your boy and daughter the same present, example a doll each, would not be justice. Wakula minha ragadan haythu syi'tuma. And both of you eat from it as freely whenever both of you please. Living in paradise was full of goodness everywhere they turned, meaning there was no evil and there was never a choice of right or wrong, permissible or prohibition, doing the right way or the wrong way. The meaning of living a righteous life is not relevant, as there is nothing in paradise that can make them sinning yet. Righteousness is refraining from doing evil. However, there is no evil where they are currently dwelling. Righteousness is also in doing good deeds to people. However, there is no one in need of help in paradise. You can only be righteous or act righteously when you are on earth, which in turn will be deserving of you to enter paradise. Worshipping Allah is the highest form of righteousness. Allah said, Surah 51, ayah 56, and I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship and slave to me. Ragadan, the English translation was freely. Eat freely. What is the reason that we want to eat? We eat because we are hungry. If we don't eat at all, we will die. After eating, our stomach are full and we stop eating. However, in paradise, there is no such thing as hunger, full stomach, or death. Hence, eat freely means eating just for the sake of enjoyment. Adam and spouse were not hungry but were commanded to eat. He obeyed. All this blissfully living in paradise was actually a test for both of them. When everything is going fine in a person's life, that is a big test for him. People are enjoying lots of things, example, going for holidays, watching movies, eating out with family or friends, etc. Those are tests. When life is good, how is our character, behavior, deeds, God consciousness, etc. When we are living luxuriously, what are our actions? If something negative happens, what are our reactions? Do we start blaming God? It is hard for men to cope with the test of being in luxury, as we shall see in this Adam story. Usually when you are rich and happy, you forgot God's commandment and prohibition. Because of status, the person may fall into arrogance, which is a fail in the test. When someone is poor and needs Allah's help, he will communicate and worship Allah more. Living a wretched poor life is also a test. It is not bigger a test than those who live in luxury. Both are the same in Allah's view. Allah wants to see who passed the test. The poor too can blame Allah for not making them rich. Lack of material wealth made his heart sad, meaning dunya is in his heart. Jealousy overtaking the heart when looking at another person's material possession and convenience. A poor person can fail the test just as much as a rich person. Remember, peace in the heart does not depend on material possession. There are so many people who lead a very simple, cheap life and their hearts are at peace. Life is not about finding happiness, but about having a peaceful heart. People can do a lot of haram things to find happiness. A tranquil heart is closer to taqwa, which is a criteria to pass the test. The evidence in this ayah, Surah 89, ayah 27 to 30. O you, the soul in peace and tranquility, come back to your Lord, well pleased yourself, well pleasing unto him. Enter you then among my honored slaves, and enter you my paradise. Proceeding with the story. Wala taqraba hazihi shajarah. But both of you do not approach this tree. This was a prohibition. A person who obeyed Allah's prohibition is a righteous person of taqwa. Before this command, there was zero prohibition in paradise. Therefore, a prohibition is new concept for Adam and Hawa. They never experienced it before. There were no rules before this. The very first ruling, the prohibition to not approach or come near the tree, it was just a tree like any other tree in Jannah. Nothing special about this particular tree, opposite to what the Christians believed. The tree was just a test for Adam and Hawa, whether they will obey Allah's command like the angels or disobey like what Iblis did. All the food and drinks in heaven is halal and only one haram. Surely with so many halal to choose from, this one haram will be an easy test. Hazihi shajarah. This tree, not that tree, meaning the tree was close to them. They can see the tree nearby. They recognize the tree, hence there will be no such thing as accidentally, unknowingly coming near the tree. It was just a normal tree like the rest. This is different from the Christian belief that it was a special guarded magical tree. Eating from the tree will cause both of them to be gods, and if they become gods, with their violent nature will cause havoc in the heavens. So God was furious at them for eating from the tree and banished them to earth. Quite dramatic in the Christian narrative of the tree, while the Islamic narrative said that the tree was just a test for Adam to make his very first decision in order to prepare him for life on earth, consisting of making many decisions and mistakes. God was not angry at both of them. In the beginning, there was only one haram thing for human. Later on, when human bred on earth, the number of haram things increased to suit the situation of the time. However, the haram list is still just a little compared to the halal list. Most haram have the halal equivalent. Example, pork is haram, all other cattle meat are halal. That is slaughtered accordingly. Zina is haram, marriage is halal. Alcoholic drinks haram, all other drinks are halal, etc. Additional thought. Is the paradise that Adam was in the same paradise that righteous people will be entering after Judgment Day? Some scholars said that it was a different paradise. These were their argument. Definition of the actual paradise is for people to enter only after the process of weighing the reward and sin on Judgment Day. Does not have any forbidden items, has no evil. Nobody will be leaving paradise after entering it. The paradise that Adam was in, there was no judgment of reward and sin, but Adam and spouse were already in it. had a forbidden tree, evil in the form of Iblis whispering to Adam. Adam and spouse were taken out of the paradise. However, the stronger opinion was that this was the same paradise. There was no evidence that this was another or temporary paradise. The reasons: human life on earth has not begun. Judgment is not relevant yet. The forbidden tree was just a single item meant to test Adam and his spouse. After that, there is no more haram in paradise. This was Allah's paradise. He allowed Iblis for a moment to seduce Adam. Adam and spouse taken out of paradise because they are not meant to stay there at that time. They were to be tested on earth. They were shown paradise to let them know that this is human's final destination after the test on earth is over, meant for those who obey, refrain, and repented during their lifetime of test. Fatakuna minaz zalimin, or else both of you will be wrongdoers. The first criteria of being a human was to have intellect, as mentioned in the naming of things. Now we come to the second criteria of being a human, that was of making choices. The human nature of curiosity and exploring made it even more tempting to approach the tree. They knew that approaching it is a prohibition, but they never experienced any prohibition before. Allah has warned that ignoring His command and prohibition will earn them sin, be wrongdoers. Fatakuna, else both of you will be, meaning both of them enjoyed paradise together. Both of them were warned of the tree, and both of them will get repercussion if both of them approach the tree. In the next ayah, it was both of them that slipped. So do not blame on Eve, Hawa alone, as some people did. Tadabbur. Allah cautioned us not to approach any haram thing or haram environment, example, bad companies, shamelessness, useless activities, places of idol worshipping, etc. Else you may be influenced and commit sins as everyone around you is doing it too. When you go near those things, you may think that you have self-control, but Satan is there to whisper and trigger you to commit sins.